A killer earthquake in Afghanistan. This morning, hundreds are dead, and a desperate search for survivors is underway. Plus, deportation flights to Guatemala stopped. The last-minute court order involving lots of children. And Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping partake in what they're calling a security summit in China. What the Chinese leader said in a message seemingly directed at the Trump administration. The stories that matter, clear and credible. From across the country to around the world, these are your unbiased updates from Straight Arrow News. Good morning, I'm Craig Negrelli. This morning, the search for survivors is on in Afghanistan after a 6.0 magnitude earthquake rocked the far eastern part of the country overnight. At least 600 people are confirmed dead and more than 1,300 injured, according to a spokesman for the Taliban government. The earthquake obliterated villages throughout the area, reducing them to rubble. The quake hit a series of towns in the Kunar province, not far from the city of Jalalabad and near the border with Pakistan. The U.S. Geological Survey says the earthquake was just 5 miles deep. Shallower quakes tend to cause more damage. It was also followed by several aftershocks, ranging from 4.5 magnitude to 5.2. Rescue operations are underway, with medical teams from Kunar and Kabul helping. That's according to a spokesman for the Ministry of Public Health. As hundreds of Guatemalan children waited on planes in Texas to be deported to their home country, a federal judge issued an emergency order preventing them from taking off on Sunday. Lawyers for 10 of the nearly 700 unaccompanied minors say the kids were woken up in the middle of the night and loaded onto planes for repatriation to Guatemala. Federal Judge Sparker Suknanen, a Biden appointee, said in her order Sunday that the children could not be deported for at least 14 days and were to be returned to the Office of Refugee Resettlement Facilities while the legal process plays out. Lawyers for the Trump administration argued the children were not being deported, but rather reunited at the request of their parents or guardians. The judge asked the Department of Justice to provide evidence supporting its claim, giving the government until Friday to file a formal response. The chairman of the House Oversight Committee has scheduled a bipartisan meeting for tomorrow with the victims of convicted sex traffickers Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Chairman James Comer announced the meeting Sunday. According to ABC News, he also sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent seeking relevant suspicious activity reports in connection with the Epstein investigation. He's demanding the information be turned over by September 15th. Meanwhile, other lawmakers, led by Congressman Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, are pushing what is called a discharge petition that would force Attorney General Pam Bondi to release Justice Department files on Epstein. Khanna said on Meet the Press on Sunday he believes he has the votes to pass it. A flotilla carrying activists, including Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg, and humanitarian aid, is on its way to Gaza in an attempt to break the Israeli blockade of the Palestinian territory by sea, as the enclave faces famine. The Global Samud flotilla, carrying food, water, and medical supplies, left Barcelona, Spain on Sunday. In a statement, activists said they're demanding safe passage to deliver the much-needed aid and the opening of a humanitarian sea corridor. The convoy of about 20 boats and delegations from 44 countries is said to be the largest attempt yet to break the Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip by sea. Organizers say they will be joined by more ships from the ports of Italy and Tunisia in the coming days as they make their way from the western end of the Mediterranean to the Gaza Strip. They're expected to arrive mid-month. Meanwhile, Israel has stepped up its offensive on Gaza City, limiting the deliveries of food and supplies there and declaring it a combat zone after the recovery of the remains of 2 hostages on Friday. Explosions and gunfire took place overnight as Israel insists Gaza City is a base for Hamas. Now we're learning more than 63,000 Palestinians have been killed since the war between Israel and Hamas began in October of 2023, according to the Health Ministry. Just a few weeks after meeting with President Trump in Alaska, Russian President Vladimir Putin is in China with one of his key allies, Xi Jinping. The two communist leaders stood side by side as part of a 2-day summit meant to show China as a global leader and to play up the alliance between China and Russia. In an address to attendees, the Chinese leader decried today's Cold War mentality and bullying practices. He did not mention the United States by name, but analysts believe it's a clear message aimed at the West. A military parade is set for Wednesday in Beijing. Putin, as well as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, are expected to be in attendance. Finally this morning, whether you are working on this Labor Day or enjoying a long holiday weekend, wouldn't it be nice to have the option, financial security for life? Well, tonight could be your chance. The Powerball jackpot has now grown to the 5th largest in game history, a whopping $1.1 billion. That's a lump sum cash payout of just under $500 million. Your odds of winning, by the way, 1 in 292.2 million, making you more likely to get struck by lightning than to win. But hey, somebody has to win at some point, right? The drawing is tonight at 10:59 p.m. Eastern. We will let you know when somebody does win. Want more unbiased updates? Sign up for our newsletter. It's just the facts, no fluff, delivered right to your inbox each morning. Go to san.com/newsletters. Those are your unbiased updates for this Labor Day Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.